Hiya Tom, lovely to see you down at the range this morning. A little bit of a chilly start, a bit of a shock to the system after the summer we've had, but it was a good session and it was nice to see you down on the grass again. So let's have a little look at your pitching to start with. What we're trying to achieve is a simple action. If we look at Tiger here in the middle of your screen, it's not perfectly on plane, but it's going to go back and down in a very similar manner. So it's got a very similar line. You can see that the stance is a little bit open, but nothing excessive. Personally, I like to see players chipping from a squarer stance for reasons that I explained earlier about the path of the club and the effects that that open stance can have on the overall action when pitching. So I'm going to leave that running in the centre of your screen, and what we've got here is you on the left hand side at the start of your session, and you're going to see that that club is very much sort of picked up and dropped inside. So the club is going to go back very high above that line and then drop underneath that line. So we've almost got a bit of a Jim Furyk going on there, and as we said earlier, you know, when that's happening on such a short shot, that can lead to a number of things. In an attempt to get the club back under plane, the right knee's got to shoot out, the spine's got to straighten up, and that leads to a number of shots, particularly hitting the ground behind the ball, or the arms going away from you too much and you hitting the shank. What we've got on the far right is you at the end of your session thinking in terms of first of all squaring the stance up and then simply passing the club back, tracing the arc of your swing rather than trying to keep your club on the target line. So here we go, back and through in a much more one plane move. So much less of a variation between the way you go back and the way you come down. So we take a little look at those in more detail, and we'll just stop Tiger so it doesn't distract you. At the start of the session, the club's going to work back very much on your line and get very much above plane. At the end of your session, the club's going to work back much more on an arc and stay beneath that line. On this one, the club's going to drop substantially lower on the way down than it went back, and on this one the club's going to pretty much remain on the same line on the way down. As a result, we see a slightly different body position, slightly different right knee location as well as you're coming into the ball, not quite as popped out in front of you. So if you put a line down from here, here, and I just swing it back, right knee shooting out, trying to drop the club on the inside, right knee not shooting out quite as much. It may look the same degree on there, but what you've got to remember is this one's zoomed in a little bit more. This image here is a larger image than here, and the gap between the two is very similar. So the right knee's not shooting out as much because we're not trying to drop it inside and get underneath plane. We're already on the arc, so we can go back and through. So as an overall action, if you pay attention to the right knee on both these swings, right knee sort of pops out, right knee works a little bit more as you would expect it to, going forward and out. So subtle change, but a change all the same, and what we've got to look at is getting that club swung on a more neutral path, and that in turn is going to improve your chipping and your control of your low point. Good luck with it, and look forward to speaking with you again soon.